Kira. Thanks everyone for being here today. I know it's early in a lot of places. I am talking from Porto in Portugal, and I am one of our leadership advisors here in Art and Feminism. And I'm very excited for today's sessions. It's our first virtual editing table of the year. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me do this. You can all see my screen.
Yes, we see your browser.
Okay.
And there you go. Yes.
Great. So here's today's agenda. We're starting with our welcome and arts and feminism policies. Then we go into our presentation, how images can change Wikipedia and internet with Bárbara. And then we're going to have a pause for questions and answers. And we can start our workshop. We're going to have a brief workshop in design, and then we're going to have a workshop on Wiki Commons. And if there is no further question, we're going to wrap up and say our goodbyes. So starting with our policies, we believe in brave, friendly spaces. And the goal of this session is to create an encouraging space for collective learning. This requires intentional behavior, wherein participants are conscious and accountable for the effect of their statements and actions on others. We expect our experiences and, I'm sorry. We respect our experiences and experiences of others and recognize that I cannot read. I cannot read and I don't know why. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, okay. We respect our experiences and the experiences of others and recognize that we can't do this work without one another. So here we have some practices, some good practices for today's sessions. So we recommend you all to speak slowly, to turn on your captions. This is not the case for today. So say your name before you speak so everyone can know who you are. Pause for access and pay attention to the chat and describe images on screen every time it's possible. And utilize your space in whatever way works for you. So feel comfortable for a stretch during the session. You can choose to have your camera on or off. Just make yourself comfortable. We have 2 hours ahead of us. So today's presentation, it's how images can change Wikipedia and the internet. This is a presentation that we did together, Bárbara and I. I'm going to introduce Bárbara. So she's an illustrator and graphic design lecturer, and she can introduce herself better when she started. I am here as one of our leadership advisors, but I am also a co-coordinator in a user group in Portuguese, in Wikipedia Portuguese, that is called Wiki Editoras Lx. And I'll let everything to Bárbara explain during this presentation. I just want to thank you all again for being here today with us, and say that I'm very happy to share this session with Bárbara and very excited to see how it goes. So Bárbara, take the floor, please.
Hello, my name is Bárbara, and yes, as Flavia said, I'm an illustrator, graphic designer, and lecturer at the SRH Berlin. And I'm super happy to be here and to share with you guys the work that we've been doing for the last already 3 years, I think, or 2 years, something like this. And that, of course, we hope to continue in the future because we do think that this work matters now more than ever. I think we can start with the presentation. So I want to start this presentation by sharing a story with you because this is all about stories and identities and presences in the real space, but also online space, and the online spaces as a representation of real spaces as well, or as a projection of real spaces. So this is a painting by Gustave Courbet. Maybe some of you know him. He was a French painter from the 19th century. And this is a really interesting painting. It's called a painter studio. And Courbet used to say that the world would come to be painted at his studio. So his studio and this painting are kind of like a representation of his reality. And there are different figures around the, the painting, and it's divided in groups. And on the right side of the picture, we can see a group of people who were kind of illustrious members of Courbet circles. And one of them on the right, and the further right, is Baudelaire. Baudelaire was a French writer, and we, if Flavia can change the slides, on the far right corner, we see that there's a bit of a darkened background, and there is a hiding figure. So this figure is hiding not only in this painting, but a little bit in history. This is Jeanne Duval, the Asian dancer and actress, and she was a big influence in Baudelaire's texts and writings. And this figure was kind of eliminated from history, and we see here this erasure by her erasure in the painting as well, and her exclusion from this space of intellectualism and elitism in the arts. So this is a little bit the context of as well of what we want to do. We want with our work to eliminate these erasures and bring these presences to light through the images we create. So these are different images of Jeanne Duval. We see the Wikipedia article, which is already illustrated with a wonderful drawing. And then we have a painting, I think, by Manet, and some sketches, I think, by Baudelaire as well. This figure is interesting as well because we see that other artists have also been inspired by her presence in art and also by her kind of absence in art. We have Lorraine Grady. Pass to the next slide. Lorraine Grady, she's a writer and artist as well, and a conceptual artist. And she did some work based, she worked a lot around the topics of identity and how images are representations of identity as well, and how we can represent these identities through art. And she was also studying Baudelaire. And while she was studying Baudelaire, she got really interested in the picture of Jeanne Duval and decided to dedicate some artwork to her. She also kind of compared a little bit the experiences of Jeanne Duval with her own moms. So we see a bit this kind of like cross-history identification between people, but she also realized that there were not so many images of Jeanne Duval. And at the time, this was in the end of the 90s, Lorraine Grady was starting to work with digital art. She was starting to work with Photoshop. She got a grant, and then she utilized these images of Jeanne Duval and Baudelaire to experiment with these new digital mediums, which I find really interesting because I feel that these figures kind of, you know, we can get inspiration throughout history, but we need these figures to be visible. This is why it's so important to bring this visual visibility online. I also want to highlight another project from Lorraine O'Grady, which is called Art Is. And this is a really cool project. So Lorraine worked a lot with these topics also of accessibility, right? And who has accessibility to art and what is considered art. So she did this project where she went to a Harlem parade. She had a big float. I also think it's really cool that, you know, she's doing these big interactive experiences and bringing the community in. This is also something we will talk about further in the presentation, that it's a big component of the work that we are doing. And Lorraine brought this big frame that would kind of frame everyone that she was passing through, but she also had people in the audience that she had hired to walk around with frames and frame people inside these golden frames, bringing them also to the level of art and integrating them in this environment and kind of breaking the cycle of exclusion of different intersections of identities from the art world, and also from being visible and staying visible within these realities. I think we would like to ask you if you want to share on the chat a historical figure that you think that their impact was underrated or kind of undermined due their identity or intersection of identities. We're curious to know if you know of someone, if you could think of someone quickly, and then we can jump to the next part of our presentation where we will talk a little bit more in specific about our collaborations. I think Flavia, if you want to, Artemisia, but she's getting her new visibility now. She's a big icon of the yeah. She's awesome. And I think also she has some paintings that were wrongly attributed to her father, because there's always this kind of like attribution topic, which is also interesting within the context of Wikipedia as well. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Ah, Sister Nancy. Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because then we see also the impact that these people have, and we also start to understand how incomplete our vision of certain fields of the arts, of the creative, and of course science as well, is incomplete without looking at the presence of these people and their contributions as well to art, science, music, etc. Cool. I think, Flavia, we can maybe move. So yeah, now we're gonna start talking a little bit about our collaboration. Of course, we have to start from the beginning and why this collaboration started. So of course, there were pre-existing needs that we had. So Wikimedia projects, they have low visual representation of women, trans and non-binary people. We will look at some numbers later that will completely shock you. They did shock me, and they also gave me a big incentive to start this project. So Flavia was part of Wiki Editoras Lx, and they did a lot of events to edit Wikipedia, but there was a bit of a struggle in finding images to illustrate the articles during their initiatives. So we would have the articles about the certain topics or people, but then these articles would not have an image, and we all know how important images are. And then, of course, there's the difficulty of getting images from photographers with free licenses, because not everyone is willing to put their pictures available. I think there's also sometimes difficulty with pictures because people don't really know who is the owner of the license as well. I think this is also something that we talked about before, but there was this difficulty in finding images that could illustrate the articles. So me and Flavia, we had different we were doing different things that kind of matched very well together. So Flavia was already working and researching gender gap on Wikipedia internet with Wiki Editors, but also with art and feminism. She was already interested in working with creatives and with projects that went beyond just the writing contributions. And she was also already aware of these campaigns that would talk about these different topics. As for me, I was already working, I already had a previous project that touched on these topics that I will talk about a little bit later, because as a creative, I was really aware of these gender gaps in the arts. I was also interested in collaborating with different organizations because, of course, it's much more, for me at least, it's much more fun to work with other people. And I also believe that, we can expand the reach of the projects that we are working on. And I also had experience in working in online-based collaborative projects, because this is a very specific way to work, working in community, working with collectives, and this was already something that I was doing before. So we want to share some of the inspiration that we had also for the projects. From my side, I was really inspired by the work of Katie Essel. Maybe you know her, she's a curator, and she worked on this book called The Story of Art Without Men. This book is kind of like I mean, I think that saying that it's a parody, it's kind of like underestimating it, but the title is a bit of a play with the history of art by Gombrich, which is a book that pretends to kind of compile all of the art history from, I think it's from the Renaissance to modernity, and I think it doesn't feature any women. And of course, we're talking about a very kind of small identity intersection. And Katie Essel decided to work on her own version of this book that only included women, I think also non-binary and trans people, and to kind of create a book that was as big as the other one, but only with women, and really highlight the contributions of people to the history of art. Then we also had Visible Wiki Women, which is a campaign from Whose Knowledge that also highlighted these problems of the gender gap in visual representation online, and also Herchive. Herchive was the project that I had before. This was a curatorial project. This was a project that was started with 3 other friends, Patricia, Inês, and Marta, and this was a COVID project because we had a little bit more time, and also we had friends. Our friend was living somewhere else, and we wanted to keep contact and work on something together. And we came up with this idea of creating an online archive of female, trans, and non-binary artists. This was it was really rewarding project because we started by illustrating and researching everything ourselves. We had someone that was also helping us with the copy. We would research the biography of the person, and then we would create one illustration about them. We would take some elements of their own graphical expression, mix them with ours, and then we would create also a slide with art from the person, and then always a quote. So our aim was to try to give as much of a complete picture of these artists and their work, but also their life, because I think these things are very connected. And our idea was also to, share the realities of what it is to be a non-cis white male artist. So for this project, we worked on the Instagram, but we also had 2 exhibitions. One of the exhibitions was when I was already not part of the collective, but we also published a book where we compiled all the biographies and all the illustrations. I'm not sure if there's any copies left. I have one, and it's very dear to me, and it compiles the biographies and all the illustrations so that people could also have access in IRL to the information that we were posting online. Something else that we did for the project that I would like to share that I think was also quite interesting, and it's connected also with this like numbers and data idea for Women's Day that it's approaching soon. We also did a series of like visual representations of the data around the presence of women, non-binary, and trans artists in art spaces, but also in the art market itself, right? Because this is also about these kind of things. This is data from 2019, because I think the project, when we did this, was 2020, and things have changed quite a lot. It's been really interesting to see also the evolution of these topics, but we just wanted to share different information about the topics and make this data visible, right? Because this is very important, is that we need to make this data visible. And speaking of data, we also want to share some data with you, because I told for myself this was very impactful because, of course, I knew there was a gender gap, but I had no idea how critical it was. I think we can say it this way. So as of January 2025, so this is recent data, only 18.9 of content in all Wikimedia projects, including biographies on Wikipedia, are about women. So this is, yeah, tragic. Of that small percentage, only 20% has pictures. So yeah, I mean, I think the numbers speak for themselves. One thing we want to highlight a little bit about these numbers is that, of course, these numbers, they are not as objective as we would like them to be because we are also missing some information. There's different intersections within these identities. There are not, that we cannot have access about this information. But this is just some other data where we can see then even more discrepancy in the numbers, right? We have 3.7, I think it's millions of male content within the Wikipedia space, and we have only 863,000 female content and 4.3 thousand of other genders. And of course, it would be very important to have more data here, right? Like backgrounds, class, etc. I think we're missing a little bit of this information here, and it would be great to have more and to demand a little bit more from the data that we have around us. So that being said, after seeing the things that we had in common and looking at the data and the numbers and etc., we went about on this mission to create experiences for people because we believe we have a bit of a philosophy of learning through making. And the idea is that I think we can skip to the next slide. So the idea is that we can create collective participatory experiences as a way to take action, develop community, and foster inclusive practices in the online context. This is really important because, I mean, for me, I learn things through making them and taking part. And I think it's really important to create these experiences that also give people agency and information to then go on and develop the work themselves. Of course, we believe in free knowledge, so this is why we're sharing all this information, is that, you yourself can also go ahead and have your own Wikipedia experiences and take part in helping with these disparities. So the first event that we did together back in 2023 was first Ilustratona. So the Ilustratona was an initiative by the Wiki Editoras Lx and in partnership with me, and this was part of the Visible Wiki Women campaign from Whose Knowledge. So during this event, there was an open call for artists to participate and collaborate with an image that would then go to illustrate an article for Wikipedia. I think there was a list of people that needed to be illustrated, and then people contributed with an image. And my contribution was a workshop that I taught. This was a workshop about illustrating portraits. And I also worked on a portrait of Bertina Lopes, which was a Mozambican artist. This was a great event. We learned a lot, but there were also some challenges. And we want to share this with you as well because, it's really important to see these events a bit as an extension of each other, right? So we start with one, then we understand what's going on with this one, and then we move to the other and try to improve every time and see how we can expand the impact of what we are doing and how we can include even more people. So the challenges that we had was that people were way less familiar with Wikicommons than they were with Wikipedia, which it's normal. I was also not super aware of Wikicommons when I started this process. But of course, it's also our duty to share our knowledge here. So people also didn't have so much knowledge about free licenses. Of course, we all know that copyright is a kind of tricky topic to understand, and the artists also were not aware of this. And there was also a bit of difficulty in reaching out to the artists from the part of Wiki Editoras, because it was a different community that they were not so close with, and they realized they needed kind of like someone from that community to then kind of interact and bring it together. Also, the Wiki Commons community was not used to this kind of initiative. So these were the challenges. And the things that we learned was, of course, that there was the need for stronger communication to reach the audience. That was the audience of the event. And that the curators had to be a bit more involved in the organization so they could bring their own communities to the project itself. Taking all of this in consideration, in 2023, we worked on the Now You See Us project. So this was a project that received a celebration fund from Art+Feminism that really allowed us to expand on what we had done before. So this project was a combination of the resources that we had together. We had already learned a lot on the previous event, and we applied the learnings on this one. We also wanted to bring awareness to the topic of representation to young creatives at the beginning of their careers, because this project, the audience was so I'm a teacher at the university at the Bachelor of Illustration in Berlin, and the audience was the students. I wanted to bring them on, and I wanted them to collaborate in the project so they could be involved and know from the beginning of their careers what these possibilities were. And so this project was done within the context of the discipline of visual culture, and we wanted also to bring a pedagogical aspect to the project. So the project went really well. So at first, the students were asked within the context of the class to research an artist. I asked them to research someone from their own country, because most of the students that I teach with have immigration background, because it's an international school, and a lot of students come from many places of the world to study. And I thought it would be interesting that they could bring this to the project as well. So I asked them to research for artists from their own country that had the Wikipedia biography, but did not have an image. So they did the research, and then they had to create an image to be uploaded on Wikipedia. And we also organized an event in Berlin, because the idea was also to use this project to integrate the students in the artist community of Berlin. So there was a lot of different things that we could do with the project, and we had a big attendance at the opening. It was a really good project. The students really enjoyed it. I think at first they didn't really understand the impact of the project, and this was something that I had to convince them of, kind of, but because they were in school and this was part of this project was graded, they had to do it, they had no choice. But they were really happy to take part, and they did take part. So one of the principles also that we've been talking a lot about is this agency and ownership. And the students were not only involved in producing the portraits, but they were also included in the organization of the event, how the work was displayed and how it was shared. And, this is important because these projects are about giving visibility and agency to people that maybe didn't have it before. So this was always something that we wanted to be present. So we also worked on a catalog for the project, and we are very glad we did. So this project it was a very positive project. We learned a lot. It was very motivating. We had a lot of participation. But we had an issue because there was an editor that had a so to do the uploads, I did the uploads of the students' works. And this is not the right thing to do. We learned this later. So there was an editor that took issue with this and deleted all the images that I had uploaded, except the catalog. So this was very unfortunate, but I think it's also, for me, it was very kind of interesting in a way, because it's a good example of what is called archival violence. So all the work that we had done to make these people visible was basically eliminated and made invisible by someone who took issue with the technicality of the project. And it's kind of interesting to think about these dynamics within these projects and how these projects can be impacted by this kind of issues. Archival violence is also something that happens in the real life context. We know that some people's lives are less documented than others due to different factors, but also because sometimes their lives are just erased. We have the example of, for example, queer people, where a lot of their correspondence is eliminated by their familiars in a way to kind of erase their identity. So it's something to think about in this context, and it's also something to think about when working on the project as well. So you make sure that the work that you've done and the impact that you wanted to achieve stays there. So the catalog is still online and can still be visited, but the images are not online anymore. But yeah, the catalog looks great. You can have a look. Again, it has the biography of the artist and an image that illustrates that was made by the students themselves. So Illustratona 2024. This is a project that we are just wrapping up. And this was a project that, of course, it's again expanding from the previous collaborations. We got really ambitious with this one, and we decided to involve different communities, right? So the idea is that we always try to involve people in different communities. We had worked with the students, that worked out really well. And this time we also invited a Brazilian illustrator, Paula Cruz. She was invited to also be part of the initiative. And I brought the collective Illustration Ladies Berlin. I'm a co-host with Elena Resco. We are a group of illustrators. It's kind of like a social community. We hang out, we meet, and we had already been working for, I think, 2 years by that point. And we had met a lot of people, and we thought that it would be great to involve this community within this project. And we managed to have events in 2 languages and 3 countries, which was really awesome. I mean, I have to say that I was not expecting the kind of participation that we had when I talked to Flavia, because we organized a list of Wikipedia articles to be illustrated, because this is quite difficult sometimes for participants to find the articles. So Maggie, our intern, was kind enough to organize a list of people. And when we talked to Flavia, we said, oh, maybe, I don't know, 20, maybe not so many people are going to participate. And I think an hour after we had shared the list of articles, it was already completely full, and we had to put more names and more names and more names. So for this event, we did an open call where we had this list of names that people could choose a name to illustrate, and we offered 2 workshop sessions. We offered one in English that was organized by Illustration Ladies, and one in Portuguese that was organized by Paulo Cruz. And within these workshops, we had always a workshop that gave a little bit context to the project, also shared information about illustrating portraits, and also for the context of Wikipedia, and also a small workshop about the licenses and Wiki Commons. So one thing that we also had at this time that was a little bit of a innovation, but it came from what we've learned on the previous project, was we had something that we like to call the upload clinic. At first we weren't sure if people would actually join, but these upload clinics were 2 sessions where we would we have kind of like an open office hour where we could help people with the upload process, because we also understood that sometimes this is not something that people are familiar with and they need a bit more support than we at first imagined. So we offered these upload clinics, and I think it worked out really well. And yeah, so again, this was cool because so we did one in English, Paul did one in Portuguese, and this way we were sure that we could cater to the wider community as well. So this project, I think, was quite successful. We're really proud of it. By the end, we had 74 uploads, and we had 118 participants in our Zoom sessions, which was really, it was really, really positive, and we're very proud. Of course, we always want to have, we work a lot with the online spaces and the internet and creating, as we're saying, a more feminist and inclusive internet, but we also like our projects to have kind of a in real life expression. So it's always this duality of online and real life expression. So in order to thank the participants, we created this pack of postcards. We selected 12 illustrations from the open call. So the open call had 74, let's check again, 74 uploads. And from these 74, we chose 12 to integrate a postcard pack that could be sent to the artists, but also to be used in the communication of the project. So with this postcard pack, we could send it to different organizations. It can also be a communication tool that we use if we go somewhere and talk about the project and show the actual physical impact of the project, because I think this is also important. So it was 12 illustrations from the open call and 3 illustrations from the curators of the project. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think now Bárbara already talks a lot. She's
I need to
probably
breathe. Get some water.
yeah, so I'm going to invite you all to share if you have any questions before we advance to our workshop session. I'm reading your comments on chat. Yeah, the postcards look amazing. I have some of them here with me,
Yay.
actually. Yeah. I don't know if you can see.
I think I'm gonna remove my spotlight.
Yeah.
It
But
was
it
also
looks
really cool to see
cool.
the diversity of the expression in
Yeah.
the illustrations. People really did a lot of different things, from like digital illustration, analog, 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have different styles. And at the same time, you know, because this is Wikipedia, we also talk to them about the necessity of these illustrations to be very representative. You know, yes, they can be creative, but they also need to be very representative of this person, especially because the idea of these illustrations is to fill a gap that sometimes we don't have photographs, as Bárbara explained it before. So the idea is for these images to replace the photographs that we don't have. So they need to be creative and beautiful the way they are, but at the same time, they need to be a portrait, very representative one.
There's a really interesting, yeah, with this one, it's a really interesting story, right? This one that you just
This
shared,
one?
Flavia. Yeah, because this was a person that was a witness at the dictatorship trials in Brazil, right? And I think there was
Yeah.
only like one photo, like really kind of like from her in a young age, and then the artist that illustrated her
Yes.
also wanted to represent her in this space of when she was a witness. She became not only a victim of this oppression, but also an active participant in bringing this regime to justice. And this is a really special one, I think, because there is this
Yeah.
challenge sometimes, right? Because we are fighting the lack of representation, and sometimes we don't even have a picture to work from, or a good picture, like a big picture. Maybe you have a picture that looks like a potato, who knows? And there's, of course, all of this work from the artists to, sometimes try to recreate, or also how they choose how to represent these people, right? I
Yeah.
think in this case, it's really interesting because, yeah, we see this person in the moment that, she's no longer a victim. She's an active participant in this justice process.
Yeah.
And I think this is really inspiring. And of course, we can do this with illustration, right? We can imagine, we can take a bit this, of course, we have these constraints that we want to represent people accurately, but we also have creative freedom to position them in a space of empowerment, which is also really important when creating these images. And I think this one is one of my favorites because of this challenge. It's nice also to know sometimes the story behind the context behind the
Yeah.
images.
And it's also filling a historical gap because we don't have much images. So it is filling a gap. Her name is Regilena Carvalho, and this illustration is by Victoria Baz.
It's really nice.
Anyone have any question? If nobody have any question, I think we can. Are you ready, Bárbara?
Let's get to work. Oh, I think there's
Kelly,
someone who
there's a
wants to.
hand. You can go ahead, Kelly.
Hi, thanks. I was just listening and getting my kids out the door at the same time for school, but I'm just curious if there happens to be like an infographic, and I'm sorry if you already showed this and I missed it, but is there, oh, I'm sorry, this is Kelly speaking too. But
Hi, Kelly.
is there an infographic or a slide or something that could maybe be shared that just kind of is like a single image that could, like, I'm thinking like if I had something that just said like make your own image or draw an artist or whatever, like for an event, so it kind of gave some liberty for people to feel like, oh, we really can create and contribute that to Wiki. Does that make sense? Like like I work a lot with high school kids, and I think this would be like an amazing thing to kind of get high school kids to think about, like when they're working in their sketchbooks, like
100%.
yeah, like there you can be contributing at the same time if you're just sketching away anyways. And I love this idea.
Yeah.
It's almost like having like exhibition, like in a sense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. It'd be great though if there was just like kind of a catch-all like who, what, when, where, why sort of thing that is relating exactly to like the creation of images for Wiki.
yeah, I mean, I think maybe Flavia can answer a bit on this, but so these initiatives were kind of contained, right? So like all of the 3 initiatives were contained within this like deadlines and timelines. Also because there is the need to kind of give some context, for example, on the upload process, but also on the way to illustrate. At the moment, you have all the workshops available. For example, the workshop that we taught within the last Illustratona is available online and in English. So this is something, it's a resource that you can use with your students. So today, I think Flavia is going to talk a bit more about the process of uploading images. So you will also be able to have access to this information. And then I guess it's also a matter of starting these own initiatives within the classroom, which is also what I did with the students but they were university students. But this is something that we can think about. I don't know what Flavia has to say about these initiatives outside of the,
I think it's very nice to hear you, Kelly, because it kind of points some directions of what can we work within this initiative. We don't know many initiatives like ours. Someone shared here in the chat that they have a similar initiative in Argentina. Because most of the work that we do to fill the images gaps on Wikimedia movement, they usually work with photographers. So it's, as you can see, there's a lot of challenges in organizing something like that. We tried to make it simple for you today, but it was a learning process, and it's a long learning curve. But yeah, we would like to work on something like that to help other people to organize their own events. That would be very nice. But for now, I don't know any kind of materials like that. And I invite anyone who knows to share with us on the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maju have her hand raised, so you can go, Maju.
Thank you, Flavia, and thank you, Bárbara, for your presentation. It was really nice, and as I was hearing you, I recalled that here in Argentina was this initiative. So it's really nice to know, because here it was activists oriented. I'm trying to find more information because it was done on 2020, and I wasn't here. I wasn't working at Wikimedia, or neither was part of the movement yet. So I will try to to find more information to share, especially with related to Kelly's question, because I think that they made some guidelines at that time. I remember that they spoke about many times, like, for example, that you couldn't make an image that was too similar to an existing photo, for example.
Yes.
That's something really important, as you said that before, with the removal of all those images. That could happen too if they find that they are too similar. Those images will be taken down. So that's something that I would like totally be aware of. Yeah, that's all that I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maju. That's right. There's a lot of specific rules. Today, we're going to keep it very simple in our workshop, because the idea here is to inspire people to know more and to maybe do their own event around this. But yeah, every time we're talking about Wiki Commons, we're going to see that in our workshop, we are talking about original images. So when they say original, there's a lot of things that we can do to help this role, to protect this role. But yeah, we can share. We would like to share and know more about what happened in Argentina, because we probably have a lot to learn from each other. Yeah, that would be very nice. Anyone have any other question?
I was going to say as well that, of course, we're always open to new collaborations, because as you saw, like the process of our collaborations. So the collaboration between me and Flavia, between me and Wiki Editoras Lx is an expanding collaboration. So we would also be very happy with proposals, or if you want support in organizing your own Illustratona, we are also very happy to share our knowledge and to share everything we know with you. So you can always reach out to us, I would say.
And it would be nice to have one more language to our project.
Yeah, it would be great. We are now
Yep.
at 2, but we would be happy to have more always.
Can we go to our workshop?
Let's go.
Okay.
Yes, Spanish, please. It would be great. So we're gonna start our workshop moment, and the workshop is called Documenting Existence Through Absence, and it explores this idea that absence is not neutral. It's because something is not visibly there doesn't mean that it's not there. And we will be using some drawing techniques to highlight this absence through this highlight of negative space drawing. And I think we can move to the next one. This is an example of something I did. So we will highlight the negative space. I also want to share with you something that I found really interesting, which is on the next slide, which is, again, an infographic. We're big today on the infographics, but I think that these visual displays of information are really interesting. This is an infographic made by W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a sociologist and also activist, and he was invited to curate exhibition at the 1900s Paris exhibition. I think it's the same one that inaugurated the Eiffel Tower. And W.E.B. Du Bois created a series of infographics that shared information on the African American community. And I think this is a really special one because what is the most visible thing here is the absence of numbers. So here we have a list of the occupations that African American people had in 1890, and we see the discrepancy of the numbers, and we see a big absence of people in certain occupations, and this absence is very visible. There's the invisibility of the people in these professions is very visible. And this is a bit what we are going to work on today. We're going to highlight this in this absence. So maybe we can check the list of materials. I think we asked you guys to bring some stuff, but we're just going to go through it. So pen, pencil, or any writing material of your choice. Paper, it can be just a blank piece of paper, or if you have some colorful paper around, I think it also works really well. If you have Procreate or Photoshop or any other program, this also works. So you choose, and your choice of image that you can find on the QR code that we don't have, or on the chat. I think our friends already shared the link on the chat. So I'm going to go first step by step with you on the making of this image. We can go to the next slide. So first of all, you need to choose the image that we have on the folder. The link is already there. So choose an image, choose the one that speaks to you the most, the one that you feel that it's more inspiring, or that maybe you think the silhouettes are the most interesting. There's 50 images to choose from, so there's enough images from everyone. If you want to choose two, if you're very comfortable, that's also possible. And for the next step, we are going to observe. Maybe we can go to the next step. So for the next step, we're going to observe the space around the figure in your picture. This is a painting of Jane Duval, the person we were talking about in the beginning. And you can see that her figure really occupies a lot of the space in the painting, which is great. But we are going to focus on the space around it, and we are going to draw that space around the figure. So maybe Flavia, you could show the next step. I made some examples where I was using this image. And yes, the idea is that you draw the space around the figure, and there's different options to do this. You can just block out the space with a thicker marker, but you can also use a thinner pen, and you can also play around with the lines to create a bit more of an expressive image. In this case, I did one that's just blocked out. Then I did one where I kind of drew what was around the figure, and one where I just used a lot of like really scratchy lines. I think it's really fun also to play around with these lines. On the next slide, I have some more examples of stuff that you can play around. So again, we have one that's just completely blocked out, but we also have an example where we see kind of like hints of the background with these sketched lines. And of course, however you feel the most comfortable, you can also play around with it. And on the right, we have an example with a collage. Flavio is a very big collage person, and this is also something that you can play around with and create this kind of like positive and negative images. I also want to share an example with you from Cara Walker. I think it's on the next slide. So Cara Walker is an artist that also played around with this idea of silhouettes and blocking out the spaces to highlight this kind of situations. In this case, she also said that she wanted to simplify the figures because a lot of the times the situations that were happening on her images were very violent. And with this way, she kind of played a bit with the invisibility of these situations in real life and also in her images. So you have 20 minutes to take the image out and work on your drawing. If you don't feel super comfortable with drawing, I could also advise you to just put the paper that you have in front of the screen and use your screen a little bit as a light box. This is totally fine. All the images that we're using are already in Commons, so we don't have the problem that they look too much alike with the image. So you can just use it as a reference. I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you would like to ask regarding the images or the making of the images?
Also, if anyone needs me to go back to any slides, you can just say it on the
Exactly.
chat. Yeah. But this is your time to share if you have any doubts. I'm going to try to do one myself.
Yeah. I'll also try to do one.
Can see if the time is working.
Let me see. Maybe I could try. Let me see. So maybe I could try to share the screen on my iPad while I do one of the drawings. Or I can also, let me see if I can do this. I think, Flavia, I could try to make real life demonstration.
Yeah, that would be nice because
Yes.
if I share my screen, it would not be that productive.
Yes, I'm gonna start my drawing programs and see if this works out. I think this would be nice. And let us know if you have any problems with the images or if it's all working out for you.
With the folder.
Yes. So, let me see if I can open this image. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll try to share my screen.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing mine.
Okay, let's see. Okay, cool. So you guys let me know if you can see it.
Yes.
Nice, perfect. So I had this this image is also quite interesting, or at least, oh, sorry, it's a bit slow. So yeah, okay, so we're gonna make it a bit less opacity. We're gonna have maybe a nice background color. Gonna try this out. Bright pink. Image. No, we want some colors. Okay, so we will try. I thought this was a really funny image because it's kind of cropped. You can see that the head of the person was placed there, and it's not the actual head of the person while she was doing this activity, which I thought was really kind of funny. We don't need such a big pencil. We have something a bit smaller. Oh, wow. Okay, much smaller. Okay, I guess this is fine. And we have bigger. So I think I'm going to create 2 areas around the person so we can keep a bit this playing field idea. And we'll erase these people in the background, like we said we shouldn't do. Color. Checking how these images turning out interesting. How's everyone doing? Hopefully going good. Any issues, any troubles, just ask us. How's it going, Flavia?
I'm not sure what I'm doing, but
You can do this.
Mm.
I think I chose very terrible colors, so I will have to change it. I can because I'm on Photoshop, but
oh, it looks good. It's not
thank
terrible
you.
colors.
No, I'm doing a bit of a pop art inspired Corita Kent.
Yeah, looks cool.
I feel I always use the same colors, and then if I have to use other colors, I'm like, what should I do? Oh, oh. a little bit of a stronger green. And okay, we're going to leave it as it is. And maybe I think I still have, I don't know how much time we have left. I wasn't counting.
We have
But
5 minutes.
5 minutes. I will try to make another one. Let's see. If I can manage. Let's try. Try. Oh, maybe. Okay. Let's see if I can manage in maybe now 3 minutes. Scratch, scratch.
Thank you, Krupa. You can see the rest of the workshop because it's going to be recorded. So I think I'm done.
Yay! So you managed in 20
Great.
minutes. That's great.
Yeah. Aggressive coloring.
I think that's also what I'm doing because Photoshop for some reason is very slow with this brush stroke. So I'm just gonna have this like kind of animal print pattern around my finger. I don't know if it's gonna be almost. Okay, cool. Do you guys need more time? How's everyone doing? Okay, this one is not as readable as the one before, but it happens. Maybe I'm gonna cheat and take the megaphone as well.
Yes, Anthony, it was hard
It
doing
was
manually.
hard.
But I think here what matters is our intention. I can show you mine, Anthony. It looks insane.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really
Yeah,
nice.
I did it manually too.
Oh, that's great.
You can
Did
show
you?
yours.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because now you are the stars of this workshop.
Anyone wants to open the camera just to show their drawn? Yes, Anthony. No?
No one wants to share. Everyone's shy about it. Well, we will need these drawings for the next part of the workshop anyway. So
Exactly.
no hiding.
Hi.
That's great. You also
That's
did the
nice.
tennis player. Oh, wow,
Oh,
that's
that looks
beautiful.
professional.
Miranda, that's awesome. Oh, this
That
is really
looks really
cool.
good.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you,
so
Zita.
cute, Zita.
Oh, that's so nice.
I love
I love
it.
the lines.
Oh,
Oh,
Kelly
this
put
is
hers
great.
here on chat.
Kelly, your colors look like these ones when the television, you know, this image that would appear when the television was not transmitting anything. It's
Right,
very
right.
cool.
The
Yeah, it's
bars.
awesome. Yeah.
I got a little
Oh,
ways to go.
no, this is amazing. But I think it also looks really cool like this. Of course, the idea was to have the person gone. But I think it also looks really cool
I
like
love
this.
this person. I don't know who they are, but they're great.
So a lot of the people are people that you can identify. So I took a lot of images from Flickr Commons, and a lot of them you can look for who the person is, because a lot of these images come from museum collections, for example, or archives from, for example, TV stations or photographic studios. So a lot of the people are people that are well known. Of course, we can also then question who has the right to be represented and so on. But yes, a lot of the images come from museum collections that are uploaded to Commons.
Cool. So now we can move on, I think, to the Wiki Commons part. I'm going to share my screen again. So now that we have our images, we can learn how to upload it on Commons. Let me, boom, boom, boom. Can you all see my screen? Okay. So now that we have our illustration, we'll learn how to illustrate Wikipedia with Wiki Commons. This is going to be a very simple tutorial for those who are already familiar with Wiki Commons. Maybe they already know what I'm going to talk about. So Wiki Commons is a sister project of Wikipedia, and it's a media file repository that makes available public domain and free license educational media content. And Wiki Commons content can be used for various purposes, including illustrating Wikipedia pages. When we started this Illustratona project, our idea, as you already know, was specifically to illustrate Wikipedia pages. But of course, that the images on Wiki Commons can be used for a lot of things. For example, remixing art to illustrate articles like journalistic articles. They can be used for educational purpose in classrooms and etc. So the most important thing that we need to know is what can be uploaded to Wiki Commons. And here, to make it simple, we're going to understand the basics. That is, we can upload everything that is in public domain. And public domain can vary from country to country. There are different laws. So you can be familiar with the law in your country. But they're basically, most of the countries, they're basically 70 years after the author's death. So 70 years after the author of the image or the book or the artwork in general, 70 years after this person passed away. Some places 75, it can vary. Or you can use images created by yourself in free license. Every time in our user group, Wiki Editoras Lx, when we are learning together and we have newcomers arriving to our community, we work strictly to images created by ourselves. This is the easiest way to make sure that our images are not going to be deleted or anything in this platform. The kinds of file types, they can be a lot of them, so it's not only for images, but in images, there are all these types here that you can see, PNG and GIFs. Also, you can upload audios and videos, some kinds of books, even PDFs, and a lot of other types. We are going to work with images today, but it's nice to remember that Wiki Commons is not only for images. So I don't know if anyone here already have a Wikimedia Commons account. I cannot see, but I will ask Miranda to share this link here on our chat. This is the link where you're going to create your account if you don't have it. It's very simple, it's very basic. Just as a Wikipedia account, you only need a username and a password. And we recommend that you don't use your real name, that you choose a username, anonymous, because that way your name, because that username will not going to be private. So this is a way that you can make sure to keep your data safe and private. So I don't know, I can see there's a lot of people here on chat. Yes, here we have the link already. So you can create your account. You can do this. I'm going to do step by step, but I will try to do it slowly. So you can have the time to create your account if you still don't have it. And having a Wikipedia account does not mean that you already have a Wikimedia Commons account. You can use the same account, but you need to enter that for the first time. So we also have a link for the easiest way to upload image on Commons. It's using the upload wizard, and it's very simple, to be honest. I can see my...
Flavia, I still see the same slide. I don't know if you've been changing it, but I still only see the workshop slides.
Yeah, I can see that my sharing is paused and I don't know what to do. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah, now it's working.
But did you miss this slide?
Yeah, we missed the slide.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the slide of creating our account. This is how it's going to look like on Wikimedia Commons. It's very simple, just your username and password. And this is what I said before about choosing anonymous username, so you can make sure your data will be private because anyone will see your username. And this is the link for the uploading page. It's upload wizard. It's very simple. You need to select your media files to share. For those who, like me, did it manually, you can take a photograph and send to yourself, so you can upload it. Some people have the app. There is a Wiki Commons app that it makes everything easier. It's the same way that I'm showing you here today, but you can do on your phone. It's easier. After that, if anyone wants to try, we can do it together. But I recommend for the first time using your desktop version. And here the most important is how we're going to identify these images. So as I said before, the easiest way is to upload an image created by yourself. So you're going to point that out, marking here that this work was created by me and anyone, it's free to use it. You need to say again that this work is entirely created by you. Today we have an option for AI, and this is new. And then we have the types of licenses. So every time we talk about a free license, that means that every time you upload your own images on Commons, you are giving these images to be used and shared in a lot of different ways with different types of license. Every time that I'm teaching newcomers how to do that, we use the same type of Creative Commons attribution, that is the share alike 4.0. This is the easiest one because it protects the authorship of the image is still yours. People will have to refer that this image is yours, but they are free to use and to remix this image if they have to. So this is the one that I recommend for now. And here I made an example because I need to share to do a print of my image to share with you. So here you can see I just picked one of my colleges to use. So you can see how it looks like on Wiki Commons. You have to describe these images. So you're going to choose a title, and we recommend you to keep it simple. You need to describe what it's all about. Again, make it simple. In this case, you can explain that you created an illustration based on a photograph, etc. And you can fill the date box with the date that you are uploading. And we have here some categories that you're going to see in that page, an option for you to mark some categories. And I recommend you can type the categories and they already appear for you to choose. So I recommend you to choose a general one like illustration and a specific one like Art and Feminism 2025. And then you can click and upload. This is an example of how after we put the image on Wiki Commons, after we upload it to Wiki Commons, we can use this image. And this is one of the images that was created in our Ilustratona this year. I showed it to you before on the postcards. This is an illustration created about Hilda de Paulo. She's a Brazilian writer and artivist. She's a researcher. And this is an illustration that you can see that is already illustrating her Wikipedia page. We didn't have any images on free license of her, any photograph, and it was very difficult to find. So this image that was created during the Illustraton filled that gap, and now it looks very beautiful. And also, when you Google her, of course, she's an artist and she puts herself a lot in a lot of places. She works with performances, so it's not difficult to find images of her. what it's difficult is to find free license images of her. But I just want to highlight the fact that Wikipedia and all the wiki sister projects, they have a very good they appear very high in research engines results. So the impact of putting an image on Commons, it's not only about illustrating Wikipedia, but illustrating the internet. So every time we have something on Wiki Commons, the chance that it appears very highly on Google or other researches, it's very high. I know that saying like that step by step with screenshots sound easier than actually doing, but I'm here to help you while you try to do it. And if you have any doubt, this is the time. I am here reading the chat. I think we can do this together. So if anyone wants to try to upload now, does anyone have a specific question about Wiki Commons on how to upload it?
I have one question actually, because I've uploaded and I was wondering if we can see our own uploads, if there's like a list or a place where we can see the stuff that we have uploaded and where it has been used. Maybe this
Yeah,
would be a good thing for people to see as well.
we can see it in your user page. Did you ever create the user page? Because having an account doesn't mean to have a user page. But I'll try to show you the.
Maybe I haven't. So I've confirmed I do not have a user page. I think you're muted if you're.
Yeah, I can show you mine, because when you click on someone user page, on the right side of your screen, you have a list, like a menu, and you can see user contributions. And you can click there and see like a historic of all their contributions.
Very impressive.
It's not that much, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot of things, because it's my work, so.
And is there any criteria that we should have in mind when creating this page?
The user page,
Mm-hmm.
people do on their own way. Mine is using some kind of template because it's a bit more professional, but most of them doesn't look like that. I have a global account that is the same account for Wikipedia, for Wiki, for MetaWiki, and Wiki Commons, etc. But you can create it. You can put a picture. You can take any picture from Commons, or you can put your own image. You can just describe yourself. In general, we recommend for people that are studying on Wikimedia movement to don't put much information about yourself and see how you feel comfortable within the community, especially because we work specifically with gender issues and, you know, other types of things that sometimes can be more sensitive. So we recommend people to protect their data the most. So you don't need to put much information to have a user page. You can just say you are an editor that likes to share things about this and that. You can be creative. I would like to see at least one upload today. So if people can share what they're doing, it will be nice.
Hi, this is Kelly. I'm working on it.
Yay. Anthony
Yay.
also said that they were trying to upload one photo.
Oh, I would say sharing your own artwork or your own photography. It's a very good way to start on Wiki Commons.
Can I ask, this is Kelly. So when you get to the point, is this entirely your own work? It's the photograph that was provided and then I've added to it. So is this work that it's entirely my own, or this work contains the work of others because someone photographed it?
You could specify that, but that would be more complicated for us in terms of licensing.
Okay.
And these images that we are working today, they are free. They are already in free license, and
Got
we
it.
are in remix, so we don't need to worry about that.
So it's just me. Okay. Thanks.
Yay!
I totally ignored the be private with your name advice, but I have done this before. I heard this advice. I have the account already, so yeah.
Cool. Looks really cool. I'm going to give more couple of minutes for us to do that.
Looks so cool, Kelly.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Oh, Anthony, this picture is really awesome. And I love that you know what the person is planting as well. Very specific information.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Dad.
Oh, so cool. I like how specific you describe it. Eggplants. Cute. Narumi, it looks really cool.
It's also funny because I remember the images, and it's nice to try to guess what image it is
Yeah.
the representation of, because I remember seeing that image when I collected them.
I love the colors. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to share my screen again. So you can all keep doing your uploads. I want to thank everyone who participated today. I really hope you had fun. I know I had. I want to thank Bárbara. That was an amazing presentation. Thank you. That went very well. I hope everyone enjoyed. the presentation, the workshop. I hope you all get inspired. This is much more than learn about how to upload something on Commons, or even how to learn how to organize an event like that. I think our main goal here was to reflect about how important it is to do that feminist work that we already do on Wikipedia, also on Wiki Commons, but also to think about images and visual representation. So thanks a lot, everyone, for being here with us today. We have some announcements. I don't know, I can see Mika is here. Hi, Mika. Do you want to do the announcements?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you so much, Bárbara and Flavia. This was really wonderful and inspiring. And yeah, so this is Michaela speaking. I'm also a leadership advisor here at Art+Feminism, and I'd like to invite you all to our future virtual editing table. So we have a couple of programs coming up, and the next one is actually a celebration of International Women's Day, and for me, it's actually Women's Month, actually the whole year, but the program will be happening on March 8th with our colleague Zita Sage and the team members of Wiki Loves Women. They will work on Wiki Quotes, which is just also a fascinating project, Wikimedia project. And later in April, we have the transnational data activism and feminist movements in Latin America with a wonderful data feminist scholar, Dr. Alessandra Junks, and myself. So yeah, please sign up to those. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat so you can know more about it, and absolutely you can email and message us if you have any questions. I will actually, if Bisang, you're there, maybe you want to talk about our fundraising endeavors. And hello to you all.
Thank you, Michaela. So my name is Bisanga, and I'm the Communications Associate for Art and Feminism. Flavia, I think there is a slide for this, right? Yeah, okay. So thank you all for joining us for this session. Also, it was just so good. Thank you guys both. This was so great. So the way we are able to have sessions like this is through donations and through folks supporting this work. You can make a donation at any time, at any point in the year, but for the next month, we will be having a fundraiser. And if you're able to make a commitment of $20 a month or a one-time $100 donation, that goes towards receiving a limited edition Art and Feminism zine. And your donation goes towards workshops like this, live interpretations, which we need for many of our workshops to make sure that language is not a barrier, direct funding for our grassroots organizers all over the world, and making sure that we can continue having free and high quality resources to help educate folks. So thank you guys. And even if you can't make a donation, we'll be posting about this for the next month. So if you can repost it, share with your community, that's amazing.
Yeah, that being said, you can all join our campaign anytime during the year. You can text us, you can email us. Also, if you want to talk specifically with me or with Bárbara about the subject, I'm going to put my email here. So we can keep this conversation going, because I know we have a lot to share, and you also have a lot to share with us. So that's it, everyone. Thanks again for coming. Thanks, Michaela. Thanks, Bisanya.